Last time on Wanderlust. As you look out over the coast, you can see already that a lot of the plant life, especially that was out in the salt water, is starting to kind of wilt. It isn't like dead all at once, but you can see it starting to wilt, and people are struggling with like the big kind of manatee things that you used as saltwater livestock. You can see with some urgency people are shouting and kind of running around. Some of these are going to have to probably be called sooner than is typical. I don't think we'll be able to keep all of them alive.
You don't think I know that? It is my job, it is my responsibility to make sure that they don't die. And my job got a little harder, but I'm gonna figure this out. What are you doing?
I'm bringing you food.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
I know.
What are you doing?
Is it weird to say I want to be your boyfriend? That, I don't know, it feels like juvenile, I guess, to be like, can we be boyfriend, girl? I would like to be going steady, but you seem mad at me.
I don't know if I'm mad, but it is bad timing.
Do you feel like you have to always be doing that for me? You killed yourself whilst fighting a giant wolf. For my sake, it sounds like.
I don't think you're not going to be in danger here. And that is hard to accept.
What I don't want to be is the reason that you're in danger. Like, am I at some point the most dangerous thing for you? As all of you are talking, the door bangs open for a last time, and Maul comes in. She's carrying a very odd-looking creature. I have had a bad couple of days.
Well, I'm glad you're back in one piece.
You, flop it over, and while you do, like, you see there's a big burn mark right in its chest that, Juliet, to you would be very familiar, as you had one just like it on your chest a little while ago.
Molly, are you telling me that you found it, like, with this?
I found it like, I didn't do this. Yeah, I found it like this. You can see Doc Marlin standing there holding a torch, and as soon as all of you, like, walk out...
Oh, frick, it's nighttime.
You look to your left, look to your right, and immediately torches light all around you, and there's maybe like 15 armed townspeople there. They don't make any aggressive move, they're just standing there looking at you. And Doc Marlin goes, "It's dangerous to walk anywhere at night these days." Where we left off, all of you had just walked outside of the lighthouse, following after Doc Marlin to see yourselves surrounded. Seems overly aggressive, but...
This is overly aggressive. Surrounding people with... 15 people surrounding me with torches in real life would be very aggressive.
I said 15, not 50. There are definitely not 50 people out here.
I said 15.
Oh, okay, yeah, 15. It is 15. You know, but there's 7 of you, or ish, right? I'm not going to count. Anyways, there's a few of you, so, you know.
Are you setting the scene at all?
That's me setting the scene. That's as much as you guys are getting.
It's just they're ringed around us with torches.
They are ringed around. Well, not exactly ringed. They're just on either side of the lighthouse, so like when you walked out, they were immediately to your left and right. As all of you walk out and see this, Doc Marlin just goes, it's unsafe to go anywhere in town without escort these days. I think you can all understand, of course.
This feels unnecessary for people who are willingly going?
Why would you assume they're for you? I am concerned about walking at night and the dangers it could pose.
I assume they're for us because I'm not stupid? And I'd like you to not treat us as such?
I'm merely responding to what Smoky Banks has to deal with. I feel that is fair.
So Estelle I believe Mitchell had kind of led the way out, and Estelle was right behind him. Estelle's gonna step out around him and take a few steps forward. Does anybody, do anything?
No.
Okay, at this point, we're just wasting time. If we're supposed to talk to the council, can we just move?
I'm getting the feeling that the whole talking to the council thing was a ruse.
Certainly not. Certainly not. The council would like to speak with you. I think all of you are getting the wrong idea about everyone being here. We're simply here to ensure me and all of you are safe and arrive safely at the city council building. You're welcome to lead the way. And he, kind of steps to the side and just, gestures for you guys to walk.
So if I just wanted to go home, I could do that.
Oh, but speaking with the council is very important, and it wouldn't make sense to take multiple trips, and as I said, we're all here to escort you, so that would be rude because we all came all this way to make sure that you got there safely.
Oh, so they are here for us then? I thought you said they weren't here for us.
Oh, no, partially to ensure all of us get there safe.
That's not what you said. You said they weren't here for us.
Well...
And now you're saying they are here for us.
Sure, I guess. But, I mean, in the spirit in which you asked the question, you seem to be implying that they were here to accost you, which is not the case.
So Juliet can go then?
She can come with us to the council building.
No.
It's really important that we all talk.
So she could just go home.
I don't see why you would want to do that.
It seems a bit strange that the council be wanting to meet it this late at night. Can we just do this in the morning?
No.
I say we do it in the morning.
No.
Juliet kind of slides her hand into Maul's, but goes forward behind Mitchell and Estelle.
Yeah, Estelle's just gonna at this point, she's just gonna beeline for the council building.
As you do, like I said, Doc Marlin kind of stepped to the side and, to let you guys walk forward, maybe giving the impression he didn't want to turn his back to you. And as he does, he just goes, see, a perfectly friendly conversation. All of you are getting paranoid in this odd time.
Autumn will wait, so she's at the back of the group.
It gets real awkward for a bit as some people get farther away and Doc Marlin does not want to walk first. But eventually he just kind of awkwardly turns and shuffles, but keeps turning his head to look at you. As you walk, Estelle, Mitchell walks up next to you and sort of mutters quietly to you as you walk. I don't know exactly what they want. The thing about all of this, and as he gestures, you kind of hold up a light and see as he's looking at you, you can see his eyes kind of fading back to that papered over look.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the history of the town, and that can help me guess at what is going on, but that is, I don't see the future, and I'm frequently wrong in some of my guesses. But, this is weird, right?
Yes, I would say that it's weird. I get that they're scared. I get it. This feels a little aggressive from all sides.
Doc Marlin's always been kind of a absolute creep. I just always thought he was a harmless creep. But, being,
honestly, I'm shocked that he got this many people to come behind him. Enough people were willing to believe whatever he told them, and that is surprising to me.
Yeah, I want to think there's a good outcome here, but I also am worried there's not.
Okay, so you're Are you seeing people getting kicked out of town when there are mobs that attack them in the middle of the night?
That's the nicest thing that happens usually, yeah.
Okay, what are the other options?
We leave in other containers.
Estelle looks back at the mob. What is this like made up of like Matthew's group, or are these like older people, or is it like
none of them are Matthew's group.
None of them are Matthew's group. Are these like students?
No, it is entirely, it's very spread out. It is not like one clique within the town, other than it is decidedly not anyone that has worked with Matthew.
But it's like people we've worked in the gardens with, like people that we've been working with.
Yeah.
These past 3 months, like getting the town together. Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly people you would know, recognize, have spoken with before.
Yeah.
Okay. Estelle, like, looks over the rest, like, the mob before turning back to Mitchell. I don't know. I think maybe we could each take at least one of them.
Mitchell smiles and goes, I'm really worried we could each take more than one of them.
Well, then I'm less worried.
Meanwhile, Maul and Juliet, as you walk, Juliet, you said you slipped your hand into Maul's hand, and Maul's demeanor to you feels odd. Like, she isn't looking... She doesn't seem like she's about to run or about to hurt people. She seems pretty calm as she walks.
That's more terrifying. That cool anger.
How is Juliet holding herself at the moment?
I think she's tense. I think she's, like, pretty on edge.
Maul doesn't even really bother lowering her voice as she talks to you. She's kind of, like, swinging your hand back and forth, like this is very, like, stroll at night body language from her. You seem nervous.
You seem not nervous.
That's true. That's true.
Anything you want to share that I don't know?
I don't think... I can't leave Smoky Banks anymore, right? Like, I don't think they can kick me out. And I think that would only be the worst case scenario, is they kick me out.
I would worry that something would happen to your connection. And she kind of like gives her a meaningful look, like she means the tree, but she's not going to say the tree. If that happened.
I don't think you're wrong. Maybe. But look at it this way. What's the worst case scenario here, you think? Realistically. Like, assuming that they're not about to just kill us all. Which, if that was their plan, I think they would have just knocked the lighthouse down on us or something like that.
Right. I think the worst case scenario would be that they kick us out. Your connection starts to decay and die, and then you decay and die, and that she just kind of trails off and she's like, yeah, that's the worst case scenario. I got it, I think.
All right, let me ask you something. How do you think Smoky Banks would do without all of us in it?
Poorly. That would be pretty bad as well. So
yep.
Add that layer to the worst case scenario. You got it.
I think what you're finding out, they're going to ask for our help eventually, one way or the other.
Which I want to help. I just don't want to have to go through all the other steps to get there.
She squeezes your hand and kind of leans her head on your shoulder and just goes, people get dumb when they're scared.
I know. I just don't want it to have collateral damage when it could all be avoided.
We'll see. So, Town Hall itself is a building, technically you guys have been to kind of a lot, but never really in the Town Hall part. For a time, I believe we said that Sheriff Mitchell's office was in there, when he was still Sheriff Mitchell and not just Mitchell, as well as Willow has like a little closet in there where she does her broadcasting. The building itself, because it's sort of been a while since we described it, is a newer built thing, so it's not a retrofit. It is made of a lot of glass. so there's a great deal of natural light in it. Right now, from a distance, you can kind of see the curved walls of the building that are sort of overlooking the gardens are glowing with light from within. You can see that just like through the glass in the meeting hall area of it. So there's one big open room that's used for town meetings. That is actually fairly packed, not necessarily with young people, but with most of the like of age within this society people in Smoky Banks. And you can just like see that through the bright windows that are kind of glowing as you walk up. The way up, however, is very dark. Lighting all of Smoky Banks at night has become tricky, and at times, you're using fires to distract wild animals, so lights are kind of a danger. So even having this amount of people, like, having this building this lit already kind of makes it a little bit of a target and is maybe a bad idea, but, it's atypical that a huge group of people gets attacked by a wild animal. Usually it's like the one or two wandering by themselves. But yeah, so you walk in, and it's... Immediately, you can kind of hear chatter from the meeting room, and when you're actually led through the doors of it, it gets very quiet. As you are all led down into this meeting room. So as you're walking down, it is just basically everyone that you've known in Smoky Banks, all sitting in rows and rows and rows and rows.
Are my parents there?
Yes.
Is my sister there?
I'm gonna go with yes, but not in any kind of prominent place. She's just like maybe in, I guess probably you wouldn't be able to see her. Like if you imagine you were walking into an entire town of people, you wouldn't be able to like pick her out, but
we do have different skin tone than everyone else in the town.
That's true. But I mean, it would just be like a matter of like looking out over, you're not above them as you walk down. But anyways, in terms of like the council itself, there's 5 members. As you walk in, there's like crowd, and then in front of the crowd there is what I would call like the floor of the meeting hall, and then behind the floor of the meeting hall there's like slightly raised area with 5 desks for the 5 city council people. The city council at the moment is Doc Marlin sitting in the middle. Estelle's mom, remind me of the name real quick.
Bessie.
I definitely have both Betsy.
Of course you do.
And Bessie. Those are 2 different people.
They are.
Because I'm the worst.
Yeah, one of them's like the, one of the people of the Exula temple.
So as you come up and look, like I said, 5 seats. 2 of these people are somewhat familiar in that there is Bessie, Estelle's mom, and then Lawson, the recycler that Fred had sometimes worked with. There is also Maggie, who runs one of the stores, and then a person that you guys have never met yet, but was made during character, like when we were inventing the town. His name is River Larkins, and you know that he was sort of like the premier artist in town. He is dressed very fancily, like he is wearing a large sort of like plumed and figured hat with glass woven through it. He's wearing very bright, colorful clothes, and like his thing has always been like kind of pseudo performance art, like making and performing the art of making glass figures. And that's the council. As you all arrive, Doc Marlin like kind of gives you all a seat, just sitting very awkwardly, just no desk, just in seats, like kind of separated in this empty floor, right? And then comes up and sits in his own seat. And as he sits down, he clears his throat, and you can tell that like a couple other people like want to start talking, and he cuts them off, like other members of the city council, as he goes, yeah, I would like to start this by thanking the members of the formerly secret society known as the Wild Watchers for coming here to speak to all of us. Times have gotten odd in Smoky Banks, and these are our experts on odd things that take place outside of the borders of the town. Now that has gotten more dangerous in recent months, as all of us know. And we would like to use this time to talk about possible solutions to that problem. And then he stops and just kind of stares at all of you.
Sorry, are you talking about solutions to the fact that the entire town was moved?
That would be correct.
I don't think we know what caused that in the first place. I don't know how we're expected to have a solution when we don't know what made it happen.
Also, if we knew how to get back, don't you think we would have brought us back by now?
The council does not know. We have not been told. We don't know why we left in the first place. We don't know why bugs live in our town now. We don't know why people were taken when you first arrived. We also don't know why there was an attack of rotting tree people. We don't know anything about this, but all of you seem to. We figured we were in good hands with all of you and trusted you to be our emissaries into this area.
Can I use a fate point and roll to see the pattern of stuff?
Oh, yeah, absolutely you can, yes.
So what I'm going for is to try to see, like, how, like, the movement of the town and, like, is connected to the wilds, and if there's something, like, what caused it and what we could theoretically do.
And can I respond to that accusation while she's, like, doing that?
Yes, actually, you go ahead and do your thing, and then you can respond, and then I'll narrate.
Okay. I think the only answer any of us could give to any of those would be why bugs are living with us. And even then, the reason they're even around in the first place isn't something we can answer. For the council, the answer is that there was a storm coming, and bringing a bug back to help us stop that storm seemed more beneficial than letting the town get wiped out over the course of several storms. As for the rest of that, we reacted to those. We're not aware of why those happened. We don't know why the kids got taken in the first place, or people got taken in the first place. We don't know why tree people attacked. We don't know why the town moved.
I realize I don't have to roll. I just use a fate point to see it.
I actually am going to have you make a roll, but...
What skill do I use?
So, Juliet, as Estelle is talking, you kind of try to focus on these patterns that are tattooed on you. And as you do, you start seeing, like, geometric connections between things. You kind of feel yourself sink into this trance as... I'm sorry, how did you describe this? I want to make sure I get it right, because I asked you how you felt this looked, and I want to make sure I...
Yeah, I think she like sees and hears things like superimposed on reality in front of her.
Right. So as you do, the effect as you look is you can sort of, and I'm going to like describe some trippy weird stuff here. So, you know, give me a little bit of some bandwidth here. Have you ever looked at fractal patterns? Like ones that as you zoom in on them, you keep seeing the same pattern that just turns into the same pattern that turns into the same pattern as it grows.
Yeah.
You look and see that sort of blooming all around you as you seek for a pattern, and you do start to see repetitions and patterns, in spite of the fact that when you think about the chaos that typically exists in nature, it's hard to always find a pattern in that. But as you look at the town and its relation, you can see it. You can see this kind of ever zooming thing of this pattern expanding, but it kind of never changes, and you keep finding smaller versions of that pattern expanding and expanding and expanding. So what started as incidences of people getting lost in the woods turned into incidences of attacks while in the forest, turned into incidences of things coming into town, turned into instances of larger shifts in the geography around it, and it's always this same pattern expanding. And as you look at it, you start to see that pattern go beyond just Smoky Banks, and rather to the nature of growth, and also what all of your society has tried to do with the world. Your letting the world go back to nature and trying to isolate yourselves from it. But that act of allowing nature to return means something. Like, you want to be separate from it, but can't be. It means that the pockets of humanity that exist are more and more isolated, and the world outside of it is growing without humanity. And this cycle just keeps going. And as you look, that pattern expands and grows. It becomes this kind of all-encompassing thing of fractaling patterns leading to more fractaling patterns, leading to more fractaling patterns. And all of this growth seems inevitable and unchangeable and unstoppable. And this is where I need you to make like a perceive the weird patterns roll.
So basically, she just started to infinity, and now you're having a roll to see what she understood from infinity?
Yeah.
Notice
would work.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of be as... This is pretty hand-wavy of a thing. This is not a very strict roll, so I'm not going to fight you too hard.
Okay. I got a +3.
Dang, that's pretty good, yeah? That's not bad.
It's okay.
I guess that's middling, actually. I gotta remember the scale of this.
It's decent.
So, as you stare at this and the audience kind of goes, like, dim and muffled, you start making further connections. You realize pretty clearly that Fred told you about something similar happening in the ruins when he looked back in time, when he touched that object. You realize that even if Doc Marlin is not getting the whole picture correct, he's getting some of it. Like this pattern that you're seeing, maybe other people are picking up on, maybe Doc Marlin is picking up on. You realize that in some ways, although those ruins are in the past, they are also a pretty grim depiction of your future, in that you could very easily become those that some other town finds, and this whole thing would start again. You've basically realized that, like, Smoky Banks has tipped over an edge and now has to become something else, whether that's the ruins that someone else finds when they get too close to the wilds, or whether that is something else you don't know. But there is a pattern here, and you can see a future version of it right next to town. And no one else notices that as you kind of rise back from that stupor. Estelle had just spoken, and for the first time you hear River speak. I don't like the tone of this. I think we should all slow down. Now, our good Doc Marlin, and he, like, claps Doc Marlin on the back, who almost, like, hits his head on the table. He tends to be a little bit nervous, and, like, the audience kind of titters with laughter, and Doc Marlin turns red and looks furious. But let me maybe try to get the gist across. I think all of us are about tired of this. Now, we understand, according to you, you don't know what happened. You had nothing to do with it. You've just been responding, right? Things got bad, you brought us bugs. Things got bad, you brought those kids back, and we're grateful. I don't think we've said it enough. Thank you guys for all the work and for the danger and the risk. I mean, Matthew, come on. I think realistically, probably saving the town every day, saving me. So I think we should just change the tone a little bit, because it's feeling kind of accusatory, which is not necessarily the direction I want this to go in. So let's take a step back. Here's our question for all of you, conversation we want to have. We get maybe you don't know what's going on, but we definitely don't know what's going on, and you seem like the only people that might be able to figure it out, right?
I mean, you could always ask the researcher that sent Juliet out into the wilds what's happening.
As soon as you say that, Doc Marlin just goes, I think we would be better served not to point fingers at why Juliet asked to come and work for me specifically for the purpose of finding and studying specimens in the field. I offered her guidance to that end. I don't think that this tone of accusation...
Is that why you hired Maul as well?
I don't recall ever signing anything with Maul? Or
Mitchell, didn't you say Doc Marlin has a drawer full of money that he just gives to people to do jobs?
when you say that, Mitchell looks over at you and just goes, he at a time did have a drawer of money that I believe he used to pay Maul, but without searching his office, which I'm assuming he's not going to be thrilled on, I guess there's no way to prove that any more than there is a way to prove that any of us have anything to do with the predicament of the town.
Autumn just looks Doc Marlin dead in the eye.
River again goes, I think we're getting away from the idea, which is solutions, right? We all live near this place. It's bad. What can we do different here? What resources can we provide to help you guys figure out what we need to do?
I don't know if there's... I guess... I don't think we can just go back to the way things were. If that's what you're looking for, I think you're going to be disappointed. But...
I think that is... Yes, that is... Now, see, this is where I think we have a difference... And this is a difference I think we have to address, which is it seems like you guys might kind of like the changes a little bit.
Okay, that is rich. Okay? Do you understand how much overtime I've been putting into the gardens to keep animals alive? You think that's fun?
A lot of them did die. I appreciate what you've done. I get it. You're doing your best. We understand that.
But I'm totally enjoying the fact that we're in a brand new place and we don't know how to keep the town alive and keep certain parts of the gardens alive. You're right. I'm having a great time, River.
I don't necessarily mean enjoying the extra work that you have to do. That's not what I'm talking about. But all of you found something fascinating about all the weird stuff. Frankly, it's become pretty apparent, he says, like, kind of gesturing at you guys, implying that you all look like, at this point, too, I will say, Fred has a glowing chest. Estelle, you have tree branches growing out of your hair. Juliet is covered in tattoos that I think at this point are maybe glowing a little bit. And, Autumn fully has, like, a wooden raccoon mask on at the moment.
Well, I guess then the next time that half the town gets rooted to the spot and starts chanting some weird stuff, I guess we'll just stay home then and just not do anything about it. Is that what you wanted us to do?
See, this is what No, this is, again, we're not trying to point fingers.
Then why is the whole town here?
You guys have been a great service to the town.
Yeah, it really feels like you're not trying to point fingers.
Because the whole town has the right to hear what's going on and we don't like secrets, all right? And I know you guys kind of had a secret thing for a while, and that's fine. But when it comes to decisions for the whole town, we think everyone should be involved.
All right. Well, Juliet, gets out a notebook and a pen and is like, oh, all right. Well, I think you're right that we're all fairly well informed, as one can be, about the unknown that is the wilds. How about you start listing some questions and we'll do our best to answer them.
You see River kind of hesitate, and Bessie speaks up for the first time. As a reminder, Estelle's mom. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to do an Australian accent, aren't I? Oh shoot.
You've been doing it for Matthew.
I've been doing it for Matthew, but I haven't been doing it for an old lady. Oh no. Oh guys, this might be rough. I did not think about coming prepared with an old Australian lady's voice.
She's not old, she's wizened.
I don't think she's even that old.
She also doesn't necessarily have to have that accent, because I grew up, Matthew and I have been gone for a long time.
That's fair. That is a fair point, actually. I understand that all of you sitting...
I'm just laughing because if Estelle's 34, there's no way that her mom would be that as old as you're playing right now.
You don't know when she had kids. She could be,
She's a smoker.
Yeah. I understand that this council seems to desire to if not place blame, place some responsibility for the town's current predicament on all of these people, and frankly my daughter, who came back to serve this town as its veterinarian when our old one went missing into the wilds, and has been trying to both find him and answers to what is happening since she got here at great personal risk. My grandson, in turn, has also tirelessly defended the town, which, again, has been largely unthanked, and again now seems to put him as somewhat responsible for what is happening. The council, and she's like kind of giving that some stank, if you will, feels that these are our best chance to resolve current issues. And I agree that the Wild Watchers here before us might be the best to give the responsibility of helping Smoky Banks make the best of its current situation. But I think that means maybe we should listen to what they have to say with an open mind and not dismiss it out of hand. So, that being said, I think maybe it might help to have them define the issue and its even possible solutions that they see immediately for us. What is the best way that Smoky Banks can survive long term?
Well, I think we've been working on securing food sources, which we all agree is very important. I think that's a top priority. Estelle has been working tirelessly on that, and that is moving along as best as it can. I think the second priority would be what Matthew is doing, securing the town. Maul is assisting with both of those in hunting and defending the town, as well as Autumn and Fred defending the town. And so I think that we are doing what we can. We've settled into a rhythm, and we'll keep learning more. And as we learn more, we will improve. We will get better food supplies. We will understand more about the creatures on our doorstep and prepare ourselves. And I just want to say, I think everyone is doing really well. And even though it's been hard.
I'm sorry. Did you say you think everyone is doing well? I was a published researcher. Do you know how long it's been since I've had any meaningful correspondence from academic peers? Do you know how long it's been?
Probably about a decade.
This is the kind of tone that River spoke about avoiding. River has not been able to perform in months. I have not been able to make meaningful contributions to academics in months. Maggie was a business owner who largely relied on tourists. Similarly, Bessie, Estelle, your mother, was the head of our performing arts, which were an attraction for many people to come and see. And now she can barely perform at all, given the danger in town. So no, I don't feel that any of us are doing great. I feel that at best some of us are surviving, and some of us seem to be thriving in that new kind of steady state that we seem to have found, but it is not where we would like Smoky Banks to stay.
That's fair. I guess I mean by doing well in that everyone is working really hard, and that's important if we're going to survive this. I think we need to work together and stay together and keep working hard.
Doc and the rest of you, what have you guys been doing to help the town? I haven't slept more than 5 hours in 3 months. Matthew doesn't sleep. He collapses at the wall once a night for 2 hours, and then we pour coffee down his throat until he wakes up.
When you say that, Matthew goes, "Excuse me, I've learned to sleep standing with my eyes open, and I've never once in my entire life collapsed. It's never happened, and anyone that says they've seen me collapse is a liar. It's never happened. I just meditate while staring into the night.
Estelle is doing the same thing except to keep manatees alive, which need salt water, which we don't have. Fred has been making weapons and fortifications constantly. I don't think I have heard his hammer stop ringing since we've been back, except for him sleeping and to come to this meeting. So please tell me how it's hard that you don't get to do your performing arts or you don't get to talk with academics while we're trying to keep this town alive. And then you bring a posse to drag us to this meeting when all you had to do was ask. We weren't hiding. We are working with you.
Right when you say that, and you're going on that, deserved rant, a loud, future laser sound comes from the back of the auditorium, for lack of a better term. You see Doc Marlin's about to talk, laser blast, and you turn around and the room goes completely to chaos. People just start running, they're screaming, they assume some new monster has broken in. As you hear those shouts of people shuffling and running, you realize that, there's literally no one from Matthew's militia here. Juliet, you have the horrible sinking feeling of, that's what I heard right before I almost died. And you look up and see Lance with 4 other people, armed and armored very similar to him. So they're holding space lasers and wearing glowing armor and look freaking one step away from Master Chiefs. I'm just walking down through the chaos towards all of you.
Are they firing upward to get people's attention type of deal, or
they're not shooting anymore at all?
Okay.
Was the first shot upward?
The first shot was upward, yeah.
Okay.
And they're just strolling to the front of the room, is that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Seemingly very unconcerned.
Right.
I put Willow behind me, or myself between them and Willow.
Are they going, to talk to the council? Where does it look like they're going?
Walking straight towards you.
Towards us.
Well, I will say, specifically, you feel like Lance is walking towards you, Juliet. Yeah, he's looking at you.
Okay. I guess Juliet will stand up and look at him. Is it still loud? Is everybody left or what's?
Yeah, there's people screaming and running. Yeah. And I'll say at this point too, you can hear he's coming down the way. People are running, and you can also see members of the militia running around the building to come in the door after them.
Hello, Lance. How have you been?
Juliet, it's good to see you again. I want to say this is under better circumstances, but somehow I don't feel like good circumstances are exactly going to exist between us. We wanted to talk, and it felt like there was too much of an audience.
I'd appreciate it if you put the weapons away. That might make everyone calmer.
He looks at you and just holsters, but it's still just sitting on his side. Meanwhile, you see several members of the militia running in and running down the steps towards them. He turns around and goes, "You want to call them off, or should I?"
Yeah. Estelle has seen what these can do. Estelle both is tapping Matthew and putting up hands no, push it, waving them back stop,
Matthew looks at you are you serious? And then just does 2 hand gestures, and the people stop and back up a couple steps. And Lance goes, "Good, this feels more cozy now."
How's your town?
He just kind of stares at you and goes, "Not good, Juliet. It's not good. Still there though." And he grabs a chair, drags it over to where you guys are sitting, sits down and looks around and goes, "I assume we're all talking about the current predicament. It seems that we're neighbors now. We certainly didn't used to be. And I'm guessing we all want to know what to do about that."
Can I ask you a question? Is this your world, or is your town just here?
Oh, no. No, this is not.
Okay.
As soon as Estelle, you say that and he responds, you just see, like, Marlin, whose, like, eyes are bugging out of his head and is, like, breathing loudly, just goes, "You knew about them. You knew about these people."
Marlin, can you shut up?
Yeah, what do you think we were meeting about before you dragged us over here?
This is the kind of behavior that we find concerning.
Okay, no, you stop right now. What would you like me to do? You want me to go up and go spread the word around the town saying, oh, hey, by the way, there's a bunch of people out there that might be coming this way that have very advanced weapons that we don't know how to deal with right now. Do you want me to go start a panic? Because that was what it would do, is start a panic.
You see, Lance leans over to all of you and just goes, "Your town's gonna die. Are you serious with it? This is like your guys, huh?"
I wouldn't say he's a guy, no.
You know, I will say, if it makes you guys feel better, one of my concerns was, oh man, what if Smokey Banks comes gunning for us? Gotta say, not as worried about that. And you see he, like, kind of, like, stretches out way too much. Like, he's really turning this chair into a lounging chair.
And what about any of our previous meetings made you think that we would come gunning for you?
Do you think that I go out into the world assuming good intentions and peaceful, happy folk? Generally, no, that's not what I assume. But, hey, I get it. Given by this whole kumbaya vibe, I get it. So, alright.
I mean, I don't know why you expected us to do something different when the person you tried to murder tried to talk you down and then resurrected you.
Hey, look, we all make bad choices, alright? Hers happened to be sort of a good one for me in that case. But, either way, I think we're all here to talk about the same thing. We're neighbors now. I don't like that. I'm guessing you don't like that. Thoughts?
We don't have to not like it if we can help each other. Does it have to be a bad thing?
Well, maybe not, as he says as he, like, kind of, like, pointedly looks around the room. River, at this point, is, like, you just see the top of his hat sticking above the podium. Marlin's frozen. Bessie is, like, pale-faced, terrified-looking. The only person who seems basically unfazed is Lawson, the recycler, who's just, like, staring at him like,
I send Guffy over to my mom.
She starts petting Guffy, like, very concernedly.
Autumn has so much respect for Lawson.
So you said helping each other. All right. I'm interested. Let me tell you, spirit of good faith, what I've found so far. You asked how my town was doing. We're not starving, but limited numbers. But understand what I mean by limited numbers. Not concerned about you guys. I just want to be clear on that. Not that we can't be friends. But I go out exploring with a few of my friends here, and I find a whole lot of nothing. Until, hey, I find Maul, kind of. I don't say hi. I give her space. You're welcome, he says, looking at Maul. So we follow her, track her a little bit. I don't think it's a crazy idea. I want to see what's going on. And what do I find but ruins of a civilization that clearly aren't you and clearly aren't me. And that's it. And then you guys, who apparently have bugs living with you. That's a weird one, I gotta admit. What?
Have we heard the Great Strider at all since we've been moved?
No. But you still have Teti and you still have Builder Beetles. There's just sort of less of them, but not in a way that sort of doesn't matter.
When you say limited numbers back in your town, did what was happening in your town get fixed when you returned?
There aren't people turning into tree monsters anymore.
That's what I was referring to, yeah.
But let me maybe ask you this. Has your population increased or decreased in the last 3 months? When he says that, Sheriff Mitchell just goes, oh, we've lost 30 people. And 5 were born. And, Lance goes, yeah, Ours is worse than that, but I think we have the same problem that currently, given current trends, we have an expiration date, and I'd rather not expire. So, solutions. And at this point, Doc Marlin goes, this is exactly the point of this meeting, and I think that... And then Lance just looks at him, and he, like, goes, and just, like, tucks back down.
Guffy also growls at him. I yelled at him. Guffy knows.
I like your dog.
He's a good boy.
So is your problem food supply or monsters or...
I think his
what?
problem is, Juliet, is that he wants to get back to his planet like we do. I don't think... Correct me if I'm wrong, Lance. I don't think you're asking how do we better supply ourselves. It's how do we get off of wherever we are and back home.
Kind of I'm asking that, if that's possible. What I think I'm more asking is, you guys, according to your sheriff, have lost people since this shift has happened. People have gone missing. People have gotten attacked in your town, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Given what I overheard, this Matthew here has been fighting off creatures every night. I am thinking that is becoming deadly and dangerous. If Moll is out there hunting, which is why I assumed I saw her, I'm guessing she loses people. That makes this a dangerous place to be. Now, we can try to get back, or we can try to survive, but either way, I guess what I want is answers as to what is going on and what we can do about it. I think I'm more pessimistic than most of you. I don't assume that things are ever going to be good, because they've just been really bad for us for a long time.
Do you have any leads on what caused the shift?
I have exactly 2. One of them is Smoky Banks, one of them is the ruins, and I guess a third one being a whole bunch of really a lot of unpleasant fauna, I would say, is, lead number 3. That one I don't love. But yeah, that's the only thing of interest that I've found since being here is you guys, basically.
So I can maybe fill in a gap for you. The ruins, I think what happened to them is what's happened to us. They were dislocated from their geographic location and ended up by Smoky Banks, where Smoky Banks was originally, and you can see what happened to them. So that's one.
Can I see what happened to them?
I suppose so.
Are you asking if you can poke around?
Sure. Do you mind if I poke around?
We could all go.
I think that might be our best lead, honestly.
Yeah, I bet it is. And then he just stands up and goes, bye, and starts to leave.
Lance, it's really late. Can we just sleep on it, go tomorrow?
Are you taking away my permission to look around, as you said? Poke around?
No, I just can't.
Are you telling me I can't go poke around right now?
You can. I just figured you may want to sleep. I assume you've been going through the wilds for a long way. It's late. And Smoky Banks is known for hospitality.
He nods and goes, Mo, I know you hate me, but you can come with us. I think you know why you would.
Juliet kind of looks at her.
Maul squeezes your hand tightly and goes, no, I think I'm good right here. You go poke around all you want.
Does he walk away?
He, turns to leave, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, you looked like you wanted to say something, so I didn't want to, cut off the seat if you do. You can, it's fine.
I did, but I think...
No, you can. Just go for it. If we want to, if you want to backsee it, you can.
No, I think when he leaves, because Maul's been outside and, been hunting out of, the city limits.
Yeah.
when he is gone, Estelle is going to turn to Maul. Okay, I literally haven't thought about this until now because I've been so focused on other things. When you have been out there, have you heard from the Forest Phantom at all?
Oh, that's a really good question. Ooh.
I was gonna ask Lance, but
No.
Honestly, asking you is better.
It is. So I wanna pull back out of the game real quick and just say that is a really good question. Can we end on that cliffhanger so I have more than 3 seconds to think about it?
I mean, yeah, that's fine.
Because that's a really good question, and I am not prepared to answer it or think about the ramifications of it. Like, such a good question.
Yay.
Okay, so Estelle turns to Maul. When you've been out there, have you heard from the Forest Phantom? Cut.
Yeah, that's actually really good. Thanks for listening to this episode of Wanderlust. Music for this show is credited down below. If you like this campaign, you can find more of our shows at the Wandering Gamer website or on Podbean. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links in the description. Now bear in mind, in the wilds, some wander to get lost, and some wander to find themselves.